Hello everyone, welcome to your reading for Wednesday, September 9th and Thursday, September 10th. So for Wednesday's reading, I chose Wisdom of the House of Night, and I'll be using 3 cards from that deck. And for Thursday's reading, I'll be using another 3 cards from Art Through the Eyes of the Soul. So as always, I'm going to begin with the first 2 cards for Wednesday's reading. Differences and hope. So you can see in this image, there's a white cat and there's a black cat sitting beside a bowl that has an apple and an orange. So this is definitely about differences, and I feel like these differences can be with your friends, they can be with family members, they can be with coworkers. This can even be with someone with whom you're in a romantic relationship with, and these differences might come as a result of you being from 2 totally different worlds, or you having completely different beliefs, or it can be just about a difference of opinion. So just know that there is hope when you have these different disagreements and conflicts with other people. There's hope. But I think in order for these conflicts to have a positive resolution, you have to be vigilant and you have to be really careful not to allow your emotions to get in the way. Sometimes when our emotions get in the way, that can create a lot of trouble because people tend to think with their emotions and react with their emotions. And whenever you're feeling, that means that those feelings come out. And it might mean yelling, it might mean swearing, it might mean screaming. And I feel like this card is just warning you about these possible conflicts so that you can prepare yourself to react in a more positive way, in a way that brings about a resolution to these arguments and disagreements, instead of you reacting in a way that makes things 10 times worse, because that can definitely happen. So just know that if you are experiencing conflicts with other people, there is hope. For those of you who have been waiting for change, who have been hoping to reunite with a friend or a family member, or for those of you who just wanted to patch something up with a coworker, there is hope. I feel like someone in this situation will begin to see something from a completely different perspective. And if you don't know how to work through these differences, you can always call upon your angels and your guides for help, and they can help to open the hearts of everyone involved so that these 2 opposing sides can come together. But I think the main thing to be careful about is that you are respecting each other's differences, that you are respecting each other's opinions. Just because someone has a totally different opinion or belief from you, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're wrong. It doesn't mean that you're wrong either if you have a different opinion. But it's just learning how to respect each other despite those differences that you have. And learning how to speak to one another without yelling, without insulting each other. If you're looking to find a resolution to this situation, is going to definitely require that you try to be a little more respectful of each other. And lastly is don't forget, reminder. So this card makes me think that some of you have probably been in this situation before, where you've had conflicts or disagreements with other people. And that is definitely typical, especially if you have a troubled relationship with someone where you're constantly arguing with that person. And sometimes after that argument is over, you might think, I'm never going to allow myself to get that angry again. Or the next time that happens, I'm just going to leave. Or the next time this happens, I'm going to say this, or I'm going to say that. I feel like this card is reminding you to be more careful about what you say and how you react, because that is going to determine whether or not you're able to reconcile these differences and whether or not you're able to repair these relationships with the people that you're having these differences with. But the card that really stands out to me the most here is hope. And I especially like the placement of this card. It is in the middle. And to me, the placement is really significant. So again, I feel like this is a really positive card. They're reminding you that despite anything that is going on, as long as you can remember to respect each other's differences and not react in the same old way that you have in the past that might have contributed to the conflict and disagreements, and as long as you can be respectful of the differences that you have with other people, I feel like things will get better. There is definitely hope. So that concludes Wednesday's reading. I'm going to go ahead and start Thursday's reading, and as previously stated, I'll be using art through the eyes of the soul. So let's begin with the first two cards. The Hermit. Share your wisdom with others, shine your light. And the Shaman Celestial Journey. Climb the spiritual ladder one step at a time. So I feel like this reading is speaking to those of you who are looking to grow spiritually, who are looking to get to know yourself, to connect with your angels and your guides. And for those of you who are just maybe beginning your spiritual journey, and those of you who are looking to open up your psychic abilities, I feel like they're just telling you that this is a journey, and you can't expect to get from point A to point Z overnight. It's something that is going to take time. And the number one thing that you can do to grow spiritually is meditate. And that is something that you should do on a daily basis. I would say that meditating for at least 30 minutes a day would be a great start. And there are also different spiritual practices that you can explore. For those of you who pray, prayer is great as well. Meditation is when you listen, and prayer is when you talk. So they're both really great if you're looking to grow spiritually, but the best thing that you can do is meditate. And I would also recommend that you keep a journal where you write down any spiritual insights that you have, any dreams that you have, any visions that you have. Just write down different things, any signs and synchronicities that you get, because when you're paying attention to that, that is when your angels and your guides realize, okay, they're listening, so let's keep this up. Let's send them more signs. Let's continue to talk to them through their dreams. So just make sure that you're paying attention to that. And you can also use crystals. Sometimes they can really help with raising your vibrational frequency. I would say something like an amethyst. That works really well, and maybe selenite. There are so many different crystals that are of a high vibration. Something like blue kyanite. Just do a search, and if you're interested in crystals, I would definitely recommend those. But I feel like they're asking a lot of you to grow spiritually and to evolve, because you're meant to help others, and that is what the second card is saying. Share your wisdom with others. This is something that you're meant to be doing. You're meant to grow spiritually, and you're meant to evolve so that you can share that with other people to help them on their journey. And even though everyone is not necessarily going to be on a spiritual journey, sometimes you can help people through challenges in life. We all have challenges. So you might be able to help people work through relationship problems, or you might be able to help people when they have conflict or disagreements with others. You might be able to help empower them. And that all begins with you and your personal growth. I feel like most people who are watching this video, regardless of whether or not you know it, you're probably a light worker. So that is probably why you're here. You're meant to share that wisdom with other people. And even if you're watching this video right now, to me, that sort of suggests that you are probably more spiritually aware than the average person. So take what you've learned about oracle cards or tarot cards, or about crystals or beings of light, and share that with other people around you. And next is retreat into nature, solitude. So this is another thing that you can do to help yourself to grow spiritually by taking time out in solitude. That is one way to connect with your angels and your guides when you're being quiet and you're listening to that voice within and you're still. That is when you hear the messages that are being sent to you. But if you're busy with your day-to-day life, where most people are watching television or they're busy texting someone or they're on their computer, if you're busy doing all of those other things, then naturally you're not going to be able to hear that voice within. So they're asking you to go out into nature, and not only to connect with nature, because nature naturally carries a high vibration, but just to go within and to get to know yourself and to make the changes that you need to make. I feel like some of you might need to change certain things in your life that are no longer serving you, releasing people who should not be in your life and letting go of old habits, forgiving people, doing whatever it takes to raise your vibration so that you can connect to your angels and your guides. And when you do that, it will automatically help you to open your psychic abilities so that you can get the messages that are meant for you. And you might even be able to get messages to help other people, because a lot of you are meant to be leaders. You're meant to help people, and it might not be making videos and speaking on YouTube, but you might be able to help people in other ways. So I feel like your angels and guides are saying that it's time for you to step up, and it's time for you to be the person that you were meant to be. So I hope you all enjoyed this reading. I thank you all for watching. I'll see you on Friday with the romance reading, and I hope you have a wonderful day.